Hi, it's Rebecca, Empathic Pro. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for anyone who watches my videos. If you are in the US, I am recording this on the 28th of November 2025. And so I hope you had a gentle day yesterday for Thanksgiving. I focus on it as a day of gratitude, whatever it is that you want to call it. I have some black salt that a friend of mine, Pooh Merritt, had made. I will try to remember to link her information. I have not done this in one of my general readings before, but the energy before even channeling the message was really strange. So, if this is for you, you may be feeling off right now, or you definitely are feeling off right now. You may not be sure why, but like the energy felt like I was being choked. It felt like I was like, it just felt really heavy, really like suppressing and repressing are the words that I hear, like very much so that energy of someone not wanting for you to move forward. Which I know sounds very strange. I'd already picked the Your Chakras Are Showing sweatshirt because it's one of my favorites where I've lost weight over the years. It's super roomy, but and sorry, I forgot I had the mic on. But I love it. But it feels very important because that Your Chakras Are Showing, just that's a message for someone. I also used a Palo Santo white sage and frankincense spray that my friend Pooh, who did the black salt, had made. Like I said, I'm going to try to remember. And I will be watching this back, even though, because I don't remember what I say most of the time. And so I'll try to link her stuff. I know this feels very disjointed, but that's kind of the energy that's coming through. I grabbed more stones to put around me than I usually do. And you can see I lit the chakra candle as well as the Hansha Shonen, which is the distance energy symbol, and the Dalko Mio, which is the like master Reiki symbol. So what I was called to bring over is my Selenite sphere, black tourmaline, a quartz crystal, and I was going to grab just one of the points, and it was like, I was told, no, bring a big one, to emphasize, not because sometimes people say size matters when it comes to crystals. I have found that you can have a teeny tiny crystal that has a lot of powerful energy. Like, for instance, this teeny tiny little piece of moldavite. It's small, but it has a lot of energy. In fact, I'm wearing my moldavite ring, and we will put that here beside of the rose quartz heart. We're going to breathe because like even my shoulders are tight. We've got Oscar, which is my black obsidian skull. We've got Asher, which is my larvacite skull. And then Casper, the zebra jasper and pyrite dragon head. And if my finger looked like it was doing something, it was not. I was trying to make sure you could see Casper. I was not trying to flip anyone off. And like I said, the selenite bowl with some black salt, just using a little bit for right now because I don't want for it to make a mess. Also, as I was walking past my shelf, my little snow globe with cardinals in it caught my eye, and I was trying to walk past it, but that's important. So cardinals may be a sign for someone. We'll go ahead and kind of go through what are this in the purple, what are the things, because there was a lot. So collective reading, those who need this message, and in capital letters with an exclamation point, now. And I was like, well, what exactly is now? And it said soon, but also when they see it. So even if you're not watching this, like right now, it's not necessarily, they're telling me that you watch it like right this minute as soon as I post it, but that it's one of those things where you see it, you feel called to it, you need to watch this right now. I'll go through some of the messages. After the Cardinals was 2525, which when I wrote that down, I didn't even think about the fact that this is 2025. So 2525. And I had even mentioned that 12/31/25 breaks just 25, not 2025, but 12/31/25, the last day of the year with just the 2-digit for each. Breaks down to a 5, which is change. Well, 25/25 is a major time of changes, and these can be positive changes. Positive change doesn't always feel good. So understand that sometimes we have to embrace change, even when it doesn't feel comfortable, because it will always lead us to something different, but it'll lead us to better things. So this is a time of personal transformation, new beginnings. And I heard as I was writing that, embrace spiritual responsibilities. So I feel like this is for someone being called to, like my ears are ringing so bad this whole time. This is someone being called to use your voice in order, and I feel like that's why I felt the choking around my throat when I was getting ready for this. Somebody is being called to use their voice, but to be spiritually responsible with that. You are being divinely guided. So part of that is just listening to your intuition and your higher self, divine guides that you connect with, and embrace those responsibilities as you awaken and grow. That's what I also got. As you awaken and grow, stay grounded and flexible. You are divinely guided. I said, who or what needs to pay attention? Who or what do the collective, the people who are drawn to this message, need to pay attention to? And so as I was focusing, I heard ghost of the past. And so with that, I saw like not just literal ghost, but traumas, events, things that have happened, things people say. Like I just felt like a child with all like that image of people standing around you and saying these things, like the words coming right at you, and it's very negative. Like there's a lot of things that you need to clear, or you are clearing right now. Self-doubt was the next one, of course. Jealousy, but I get this not only as jealousy that you may have, it feels more like jealousy that somebody else has toward you, and it may be holding you back, because if you feel like someone is paying attention to you in a way that is negative, or they're throwing shade at you, they're being very like they're triggering these past events, they're triggering those past traumas, and it's pushing that out. Not everyone, and I think that's something, yes. The next one is those who are not ready for the journey. So not everyone is going to be coming with you. Some people are not ready for the journey. They may be jealous of the fact that you're ready for the journey, but don't let them hold you back. And you can, I'm not saying cut contact off with people. Sometimes we may have to, but understanding that if somebody is not in alignment with what you're doing, or they, even if it's just they don't understand it, you may have to do this without including them. And that's okay. Like as I did that, I saw like my hand going like this, like stop putting up those boundaries. Then I heard howling at the moon, and I saw a wolf, and I was like, wait, I haven't used this deck in a long time. Well, I have used it, but I haven't gotten this card in a long time. But I was like, one of my Moonology decks, because I do have two. I have the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Belind. And then I have the Moonology Messages Oracle by Yasmin Belind. And so I looked through both of them, because I was like, there's a Howling at the Moon card in one of those. And sure enough, I found it. Howl at the moon, process your feelings. So this is going to be a long read. And if that's not your thing, but you still feel called to the message, I will try to put timestamps down so you can kind of just go through it as needed, but you might miss something. If you're called to just watch the message, and you don't even have to watch, like you can listen to the message. You don't need to see everything I show you unless you feel like it's important, because I'm going to tell you the things, but you can even listen to it in the background. I'm not going to be offended. But this is a very important message for someone. Like, the feelings and emotions are lifting now, but the intensity initially that I felt before delivering this or starting to deliver this message was huge. All right, so I did have it on the Howl at the Moon, but I'm going to have to find it again, and that's okay. Here it is. So the Howl at the Moon card, when I pulled it out, there were 3 cards that were right behind it, and they definitely are in alignment with this message. So I will show you those in just a moment, but I've already said some of those things. So with the guidebook, it says, drawing this card suggests you have some feelings you need to release for your own good, as well as for the good of anyone else involved in the situation. Now is the time to let feelings show. Bottling them up so that no one knows how you're really feeling is not healthy, obviously. If you're doing that, stop. You saw my hand earlier, stop. Consider working on your throat chakra with chanting, breath work, or singing. So even with that feeling my throat close up, like I said before, it feels like somebody stifling you, but just remember that someone may even be you. Or you're stifling yourself because of your perceptions that others want for you to not speak. So just keep in mind that it's not always a malicious thing, although there are people who are not necessarily in alignment with your journey, and that's okay. Let's see. So literally go out and howl at the moon. You can do that. Listen, if your neighbors think you're weird, it's okay. People are going to think you're weird when you're on a spiritual journey. It just is what it is. And the more that you just do things that are in alignment with you, people may think you're weird, but you're drawing in the people that are going to be like, hey, I get it. Or that's not necessarily what I do, but that's cool. You do you. You're not at the end of the story yet. So this card can't tell you what the end will be. It's up to you to create it. Now, understand with any reading, whether it's a general reading like this, or even the private readings that I do, or anyone else does, past and present, often I tell people are pretty accurate because it's already happened or it is happening. But future is always potential and possibility. You have free will. Just because somebody says, I see you doing this thing, it doesn't mean that you're going to do it that way or that you're going to do that thing. You can choose something else. Other opportunities come up. Let's see. But part of the journey toward your answer involves you releasing your throat chakra and expressing yourself. If the situation of your life feels blocked right now, processing your feelings could be the key to unblocking. Feel them and deal with them. Negativity blocks your powers. Additional meanings of the card are don't insist on having everything your way. Music will be healing. Talk to a counselor if you need to. Do shadow work and face your fears. And the symbol, or about this symbol, I feel goddess Kali, I may be saying that wrong, strongly when I ruminate on this card. She doesn't care about niceties. She'll howl at the moon if she needs to. So that's from the guidebook. The cards that in the deck, even though I haven't used them in a while, I did not put them in this order. They have been shuffled many times. That came out were pretty much the same things that were said in that message and that I've said in my channeled message. Cold moon, face your fears. Night moon, shadow work. And then we have moon magic transformation. Now, I know I pull a lot of these cards out on camera. Partly it's fun. Also, it gives you a visual that, I'm not just sitting here picking cards out of the deck. I did pick this one out because I got that message, Howl at the Moon. And I was like, wait, there's a card that goes with this. And so even in this card, you've got the red flowers, again, that root chakra energy. But at the top, there's like this streak of yellow over these mountains that we see. And so that's your solar plexus chakra. You've got to let go of some of those anxieties. You've got to ground yourself and you've got to release. So we talked about the throat chakra. I keep forgetting I have the mic on, but volume has been weird in videos lately. So howl at the moon, process your feelings. And it can be with a therapist, a coach. If you have friends who are non-judgmental, will listen and you're able to communicate any boundaries on what that communication looks like for you. You can talk to them. Writing, journaling, all of those things. Singing is a great one. I keep hearing in my ear, set fire to the rain. I don't know if you need to watch it burn. I'm hearing Adele. Let me try to figure out what that is. And I'm not even saying I'm a singer. If you've watched any of my videos, you know this. Set fire to the rain, watch it burn. I'm not sure. Maybe we get the message from that song, but I don't want to focus on it too much. But that may be a power song for you. Adele, Set Fire to the Rain. I'm not sure. I let it fall. What? Oh gosh, what did she say? All right, so I'm going to go to the cards now. I let it fall, my heart, and as it fell, you rose to claim it. It was dark, and it was over. But you kissed my lips and you say, there's something in that song, but I don't know what it is. My hands, they were strong, but my knees were far too weak to stand in your arms without falling to your feet. But there's a side to you that I never knew. I feel like I'm gonna have to cut some of this out. All the things you say, they were never true, and the games you play. So I feel like this just is again reiterating that not everyone is ready to come on this journey with you. And if it's feeling weird, if it's feeling off, if it's feeling like you're trying to pull someone along and it's not just flowing, or like you're doing all the work, stop. Like this is setting the boundaries. It's letting go. That's all I can think. I'm not going to sing the whole song because I don't want a violation of copyright. Two, obviously, I'm not doing a very good job of singing it right now. And three, you don't want that. All right, so the Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinane is where we're going to start, unless I am told otherwise by spirit, but still have a light ringing in my ear, but they're just kind of taking a step back because I've gotten some of the big messages to set it up out of the way. Excuse me, that was a hiccup. All right. If you want to take a cleansing breath with me, I'm going to do one more just to ground, because this energy does feel heavy. It also feels a bit chaotic. And part of what I just heard is clear your mind. You cannot think through the things and do the things and grow if you don't clear your mind before you start. Okay. And if you did take a breath in, release, relax your shoulders, let go of your expectation of this message, your expectation of the journey, your expectation of anything. Let go of your expectation is what I'm hearing. Sometimes you have to just trust the process. Where did I see that earlier? All right, so we're starting out with the King of Pentacles. So, that's a good place to start. I'm going to look at it as we shuffle, see if there's anything coming out. The first thing I see is the apple. There's two halves of an apple in here. I forgot to turn on one of my lights, so it's pretty dark. But I only see the two halves of the apple. But there's something about that. Half an apple. Half an apple. Well, the apple, for some reason, the eyes are reminding me of Owl from Winnie the Pooh. So I'm feeling like part of it is going to be that paying attention, that you're very wise, but at the same time, it's being able to find the resources and information that you need. Find the resources and information that you need. We do have the star up at the top. So again, like I said, you're being called to move forward in the spiritual journey and to release that throat chakra, to speak out. So you may be in front of people and you're also healing with that shadow work. The next card that we got is the Empress. So with the Empress, it's that self-care, nurturing yourself. In both of these cards and in the Howl at the Moon, we have the red in there with that grounding, which I forgot. Red with the grounding. Red is, what I felt like we were going to be focusing on. I mean, it's more than one chakra, but I put up the one that's going to be the main one. With this King of Pentacles, we do have the apple. I keep hearing an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So you may want to focus on your health. But as I was saying that, I'm also looking at this branch over here on this side, which has the blossoms with that new growth. And with the Empress, of course, we definitely are looking at, with this water, balancing the emotions. We're looking at kind of being nurturing. It's that fertility as well. Like, you are bringing something new forward. I'm getting a headache as I say, or a pain in my head as I say that. It's coming across from the left, and then going across the whole forehead. So this could be like a tension thing, not attention as in give me your attention, but a tension, like tightness, stress. You're overthinking it. Now there's pomegranates, of course, and the Empress card, but it almost, when I was first looking at it with the red, looks like an apple. One of the things that I'm noticing too is the trees are in this very autumn over here in I don't know what side that is to you right now. But they have a very autumn feel to them. And so right now is autumn. This is a time of harvest and seasonal change. And you're going through a seasonal change, but there's something. Why is the card so drastically different on both sides? It's like we got autumn and winter represented in the same card, and there's some clouds. So, and then it was weird because as I'm holding that up from back here, that heart with the cup in the middle looks like an apple. There's something with an apple. There's something with an apple. Shoot, there's something with an apple. Like, that apple will not go away. And it may mean something specific for you. And that would be great, but I'm not getting anything from spirit on what exactly this apple is about. So let's look up apple symbolism. Knowledge, temptation, and sin, of course, from the Bible. Immortality and youth and Norse mythology, and love and beauty and fertility in Greek mythology, which makes sense. We've got the Empress card, love, beauty, fertility. Knowledge, let's see, the knowledge I talked about with Al. Now with that temptation and sin, it doesn't feel like that. Immortality and youth, it doesn't feel like that either. It feels more like love, beauty, and fertility. It also can represent health and abundance. So with that, I feel like those are the big things. Love, beauty, fertility, not even necessarily fertility as in having children, but fertility as in growing. That can be emotional growth, because I did notice very quickly the water over here on the side, which would be part of that spiritual journey. Why does this feel so strange? That's just been the energy throughout. We're already at 23 minutes, and I feel like we're getting closer to the end of this message, but at the same, and I say that, and it could be another 30 minutes. But there's just more of the message that's wanting to come out. I just saw the words forbidden fruit. Of course, coming from the symbolism of apple in the Bible, the acquisition of forbidden knowledge. And I feel like with this King of Pentacles, your spiritual journey, your spiritual path is part of what is going to bring you to a place where you are in alignment energetically, financially, emotionally, all of the things with what you want. And that is definitely bringing in this abundance. And part of that throat chakra and that need to howl at the moon is because those things that either you've thought or you've been told are holding you back. Because part of it may be that you feel like the knowledge, the information, the way that you channel, the way that you use different tools, like the tarot cards are a tool. Or even if somebody books a service with me, I am technically just a service, a tool that is part of their journey. I am not the person that is facilitating or creating their healing or their enlightenment. I am just a tool that helps them to become self-aware, to help empower them. I'm all about that stuff. If you watch my welcome video on my website, that's what I'm talking about. It's not me that creates the change for you. No one can do that. That's why there are people that aren't meant to come on the journey with you. You create the change, but you access people, symbols, signs, information, all those things that help you on your journey. And I feel like that's what this is talking about, is that you have the tools and the things that you need, but you don't trust it because it feels forbidden. It feels like, and that's where this Tower is coming in. That was the other card that came out that I haven't shown yet. This is your ego death. This is your dark night of the soul. And it feels, I keep hearing like an attack. It feels like an attack because there's a fear of saying the things that you've always known, the things you've always felt. With these cards, I'm seeing someone who is very like knowledgeable. Like I said, with the owl in this card, the pentacles, like you understand the way to manifest. You understand the way to work with energy. I'm just seeing like lights going like this. And it's like, but it's like not just lights. It's like the mist, the swirls, like energy when I see it in my mind. The metaphysics, the alchemy, like all of those things, you have a knowledge of that, and like a very deep knowledge. This is a knowledge that has been gained over lifetimes. And you also have the empath abilities. And being an empath is not always easy. We have to learn ways to ground ourselves, to protect ourselves, to set boundaries. And sometimes it goes back and forth because it depends on your energy and the energy of the people you're around and how well you protect your energy. And so I feel like that's it. When I was talking about how different the image and the clarity in this side of the card versus this side of the card and then the clouds, it's not clear within yourself because you're trying so hard to suppress it. And so it's part of that paradox within each of us, that duality, that yin and yang, the divine feminine versus the divine masculine, which is in all of us. Like whether you're male or female doesn't matter. Male or female, you can be represented by the king or the empress or the high priestess or the emperor, any of them. But whoever this is for, notice, like I said, that looks like an apple from far back. But the cup in the heart, in the sun. So we've got the cup representing the emotions and a white heart. I'm seeing you surrounding yourself in white light, like even with the selenite bowl with the black salt. Protect and ground yourself. And we've got the selenite over here. But and now I'm seeing a white bubble. Whatever helps you feel protected, do that, pull that in, but understand too, you've got to ground yourself, but you are already protected. Like you are divinely guided. I've already said that. Now we've got the red right here, that root chakra. So again, what I just said, pulling in that white light, however that is for you, there are multiple exercises you can do to do that. The red, grounding yourself. And then with the sun, we've got that yellow and orange of the sacral chakra. Like all of your chakras are showing. I'm also seeing a sticker I have on my car. I've got the chakras and it says someone needs their chakras aligned. Like this is, and I just got the headache. That's it. This is where you need to balance all those internal things, the emotions, the thoughts, the energy flow. All of that needs to come into balance. So maybe you see a Reiki practitioner. Maybe that person is me and I do distance, whether through video or just distance healing and give you the impressions, whatever it is. I also do, I'm not very good at talking about my services, so I'm trying, I'm growing too. I also have added services for energy grids, creating a crystal grid for you, and a chakra assessment where I just do a quick look at your chakras and see kind of what's balanced, unbalanced, what are things that you may want to focus on. Not saying you have to book with me. That's totally up to you. But if you do, I would be very grateful. And also, I'm doing a Cyber Monday special if you're watching this today, which is Friday, the 28th of November. But all of that is coming down the pipeline. Like, I'm working on it before and after I record this. But anyway, in order to get to that new beginning, you got to bring in the light, connect with your divine sources, whatever that is for you, higher self as well, always. Bring in that intuition, third eye. Ground yourself, because we want to be grounded whenever we're doing any kind of energy work, shadow work, spiritual journey, astral journey, whatever it is, you want to ground yourself first. I'm big on that. And then with that solar plexus, being able to let go of the anxieties and that sacral stepping into your passions and into play and doing things that you love and just being completely confident and balanced within yourself. Balance is a big key here because it feels like right now you don't feel balanced, and that's why you're feeling that tower moment. This is a time of change, and the tower represents that change. So with that, 16 breaks down to a 7. So 7 can be seen as a sacred number. It can be seen as that divine guidance even. So just know you're sacred yourself. I'm hearing you're sacred yourself. You're ancient yourself. You're sacred yourself. You're ancient yourself. And so you've been through these tower moments before. While this one's scary, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad thing. So this is where we talk about not totally looking at the visuals literally of the images on the tarot cards, but understanding that it just represents different things. Right now, it may feel like your life's falling apart. Even those people who aren't ready to come on the journey, maybe you do have to cut some of them out completely, and that doesn't feel good. But if we don't have that discomfort, we don't make a change, and things can't stay the way that they are forever. Change is constant. Anything else from the tarot cards? I know we're already at 32 minutes, but I said this was going to be a long one. We'll do a couple more shuffles. That's, I feel like, too many, but one of those came out in reverse, and I don't have my cards in reverse. What came out in reverse? Queen of Wands came out in reverse. So you got to get your thoughts clear. You got to be clear with your communication, because I feel like right now things are a bit muddled. It's that lack of boundaries. Even with the Howl at the Moon, it's the fact that with the apples and the forbidden knowledge, like there's part of you that you're trying to suppress. You're feeling the call to step into that Empress energy and build the life that you want, to allow your sacral chakra to become balanced and do things that you want to do. But it's really hard sometimes. Like these flowers, red, orange, yellow, root, sacral, solar plexus. You got to balance those lower chakras. Sometimes it can be really easy for us, especially as empaths or highly intuitive people, to be more comfortable up in like our crown and third eye chakras. We can be really connected to all different kinds of things, but not as connected with like the throat and communicating clearly, or being able to speak our truth, being able to stand up for ourselves. The heart chakra, sometimes we can be blocked there because on one hand, we're either overactive or not even blocked, but unbalanced. Our heart chakra may be overactive, and so we're trying to take care of everyone, or because we've tried to take care of everyone, then we're just blocking everybody out. I can't do it. Can't do it. Solar plexus chakra, those anxieties, those worries. Yes, anxiety is a natural human emotion, but being able to challenge those thoughts, being able to reframe them and understand, like with the Tower card, that not everything that feels difficult is going to cause this big dramatic situation or tragedy. Sometimes it's just to get you to refocus or to step out of the box, do something different. With this Queen of Swords in reverse, I'm seeing her pointing up or to the side. She's pointing out. And I feel like it's like you got to go in a different direction, but you got to get clear on what that is so that you can communicate with others what it is. I also am seeing my hand again, like setting those boundaries. That's part of that throat chakra, and those swords is being able to get clear on what your boundaries are and set those boundaries with others. Let's see if the other two cards are part of it. They are like with the King of Pentacles, starting out with that financial piece. Part of your spiritual journey may lead you away from what you've done for many years with your career or what you thought you were meant to do. Maybe you're getting education for that right now, and that's part of the knowledge. And to pivot and change gears feels uncomfortable. But that Four of Pentacles is being able to let go of what you're holding on to so tightly, because the pentacles are still going to be coming. We can't predict always how, when, where, why, any of those things, or who they come from. But the pentacles will come. But if you're holding on to them too tightly, you're stuck still in this tower moment and the old ideas and beliefs and things that you're being called to release. And the other card that flipped over is the Temperance card. It's about finding that balance, that emotional flow between the cups, water. We've got, again, the solar plexus chakra with these daffodils, the new beginnings, the new growth. We've got the angel, divinely guided. Temperance can also mean patience sometimes. So I feel like that's partly being patient, even with yourself. Bottom of the deck, do not fear this card, just like the Tower. Do not fear this card. Bottom of the deck is death, which makes sense. In order to create change, you have to let go of things. Death is not a literal, hardly ever. And especially in tarot readings, I would not read it this way. It wouldn't be right. But this is not a literal thing. This is the death of what was before. That things have to end, and sometimes completely end, in order for us to experience change. So I see this, I heard shedding your skin. It's like where you see this crow down here and it's got the skeleton and this crow flying. It's like shedding your old skin. And I'm seeing my snake skin and the camera in the background. So it's being able to understand that change and growth do not always feel comfortable. And sometimes it can feel dark. We talked about that shadow work with the howl at the moon, release your feelings. We talked about the magic moon transformation. We talked about the night moon with the shadow work and the face your fears. So if you feel uncomfortable with the Tower card or the Death card, understand that that's part of the fears that you have to face. And understanding too that it doesn't mean something bad. Like even with this apple, we talked about forbidden knowledge, forbidden fruit. The way that people think of things, the judgment, other people not understanding. You may not understand these cards, but there's really a beauty in this transformation, because if you just stayed in the same place, would you have the joy that you want? Would you have the life that you want? Or would you feel stuck? We don't want to be stuck. And there's the red flowers in here. Again, grounding is very, very important. What is this feeling? It's just pressure. And I'm hearing that it's pressure, like it's not just pressure that other people put on you, it's your perception of the pressure that other people put on you. But if you're an adult, and I put my videos at 18 and up, so if you're an adult, then it is your responsibility and your right to choose what you do, as long as you're not hurting anyone, yourself, others, or doing things that can potentially hurt other people or yourself, and you're not doing anything criminal. I put that in there too. Then you can live your life. Like, I feel so much pressure on my ears. It reminds me of like in the cartoons where you'd see like they'd put the clamp on the head and then twist it and it'd push, which sounds horrible, but I grew up in the 80s. And there'd be things like that. I don't know. I'm seeing Tom and Jerry right now. But just like this pressure, like it's just like a pressure cooker. Like it's just building up. It's just this tension. And some of it I'm hearing is self-imposed. We got the Wheel of Fortune also on the bottom of the deck. With the Wheel of Fortune, understanding that I heard what goes around comes around. I'm hearing like Justin Timberlake. What goes around, da, 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 comes back around. So what goes around comes around. And sometimes you may be at the top of that wheel and sometimes you may be at the bottom. and you're afraid of going to the bottom, but it's going to happen sometimes. But again, just like the death and the tower card, and I'm not going to pull both of them back up, but just like that, sometimes you have to get into that space so that you can regroup and do something different. All right. You've already got the wands. You've already got the hurts and stuff. You don't have to carry them around with you. You can line them up kind of like this crow and maybe see it as like a badge of honor, but just understand it's just part of your knowing. It's part of your experiences. It's part of why when you do the shadow work, you will be able to be successful in what you do because you'll have healed yourself. And when you work with people, even though you may still have things that are triggered or parts of yourself that may need to be healed, you've got a better understanding, a better grip, a better platform, a better way to come through and deliver those messages or help others, whatever that is for you. I'm feeling the pressure in my ears again. There's something they want me to say, and I'm not saying it. What is it about the 10 of Wands? You're picking up the pieces. There's a sun in the background, and there are some clouds. I heard you'll come out on top. Like you're afraid. You got to go in hermit mode, change your perspective. Like we're not going to go through the bottom of the deck, but all of that is what we're talking about. I haven't used the Divine Masters by Kyle Gray in quite a while. So, in fact, I don't know if I've used it in a video recording, but we're going to use that. I do have the guidebook if I need some extra assistance with some of these Divine Masters. Kyle Gray is pretty awesome. I say that about any of the creators of the decks that I've watched, or Kyle was part of the certified tarot training that I took through Hay House, and his energy is just amazing. They do conferences and things. I'm not affiliated, not a sponsor or anything like that, but they do some conferences and things. And yes, if they're free, it's going to be advertising for something else. I see people in the comments get butthurt about that, and they're like, I thought that I was going to calm down, honey buns. You're still getting a lot of information, and that information, that information is helpful, and it helps to guide you where you need to go. All right, Divine Masters, Oracle Guide deck. What do we need to hear? All right, what is needed? What needs to be part of this message? Because it's a pretty long message. It's a pretty direct message. It's a very intense message. Commander Ashtar. That's a little strange just because Asher, which is one of my actual guides that I met when I did my first Reiki attunement, the skull, when I meditate, my dragon heads and my skulls get their names. I meditate with them the first time, and whatever name comes into my head, that's their name. But Asher, so Commander Ashtar. Asher was very upfront that he needed to be part of this. And my spirit guide, Asher, you may have heard this if you watched a video that I've done before, or if you watch others. He doesn't BS. Like, he just tells me the things, and very straightforward, and sometimes in a very loud, booming voice. All right, but this Commander Ashtar, leadership activation. That's exactly, like, this is your spiritual awakening. You are meant to be present. You are meant to be seen. We talked about that with the star earlier when I first started doing the cards. Time to evolve. Trust your ability to guide others. Yeah, you're not meant to be in the shadows. You're not meant to be hidden away. People may tell you that you're weird, you're crazy, you're delusional, you're making it up, whatever they tell you. Look, I understand. People can be even worried about me. Working in the mental health field for so long, and then changing and doing things that I love, doing the mediumship, the spirit connections, the tarot reading, the energy work, and being like, that's it. That's what I'm going to focus on. So for you, maybe the reason I needed to say that for you to hear is you've got a different journey to go on, and it may not look like what other people are doing. It may even be different than what you've seen with other readers or energy workers, light workers, whatever it is. But you and my ears are ringing like crazy, like the light language frequency from another video I did with the star seeds. I'll even link that in here in case that's something you need to see, because that was a powerful message too. And this card even looks very star seed like. We've got the galaxy in the background and from that gem on the forehead, because this feels so in that message, and the ringing is getting really intense like it did in that message. And that message, we connected with the Palladians and the Lyrans. So those may be important to you, but whatever star seeds you may feel connected to, I'm hearing to just kind of explore that more, because there may be some answers for you in that. Let's see if there's anything else coming out. So Commander Ashtar, leadership activation. But in order for you to step into that leadership, you have to be open. You have to accept the mission. I heard accept the mission. They're joking now. Beam me up, Scotty. So they're not only giving me the light language, which is what they wanted me to call that high-pitched frequency. I tried to describe it in another way. And if you watch that video very clearly, you know it's just light language. But they're also showing me like moving lights. Like maybe you see these moving lights and things like that. I'm just seeing like they're different colors, but they're moving. So I don't know. I'm seeing it indoors and outdoors. So just kind of like these flashes of light, but it's almost like there's a tell on it. Okay, so in this card, you can see a little bit. Let's get past the ring light. Like those stars or comets or whatever, it's kind of like, because it's zooming so quickly, you're seeing like on camera, the tail of the light, even though it may be a round ball, it's like it's moving so much. 46:46 on the clock. And why is that important? I don't know. What was I even? 46:46. See, they're giving me so many messages at one time right now that it's really hard. It came up on something for gene MY06. 4646 is the gene ID for MY06. Codes protein involved in vesicle transport and the integrity of the inner ear cells. Mutations can cause certain types of hearing loss. I'm not saying that's connected. It just kind of caught my attention, but I also have ADHD. So like truly have ADHD. I'm not just making that crap up and making fun. I have ADHD if you haven't already picked up on that. So I'm hearing a lot of, like I said, the ringing in the ears. And so maybe I'm meant to look at 4646 angel number, or maybe it's just to confirm for you that if you're hearing that ringing in the ear, there are conditions like tinnitus. I don't think I say it right, because I heard somebody else say it on a commercial one time and I was like, I don't know that I say that right, but there is the ringing in the ear condition, but this is different. Like this is something that comes in either when I need to pay attention or when I'm channeling. This is not something that happens all the time. Or is from ear damage. The angel number 4646, and this is coming from the AI overview just because this is a very long message, is a message to trust your path and find balance between your spiritual and material needs. So maybe I was supposed to look at that ear thing, like if there are any health issues or you're needing to hydrate, like my lips are really dry right now because I haven't drank enough water. Take care of any of those physical and emotional needs, because that's part of that spiritual healing too. It's not just that connection, that intuition, that third eye. It is your whole body, mind, spirit, soul, your complete self. All right. It encourages you to have faith, and it encourages you to have faith in the divine plan and make necessary adjustments in your life to achieve equilibrium, suggesting that both aspects are important for your overall well-being. All right, we have the blue beings, I tell you, I can't make this crap up. The blue beings, light transmissions, wounds healed, excuse me, that was weird. Important information charging up. So I talked about lights, like seeing lights, and I talked about the light language, and I talked about star seeds, and both of the cards that you've gotten from the Divine Masters, even though there are other, let's see if I can, okay, this is not a star seed, and I put it down because the Lumerians came out. So, and when I'm going to link that star seed message because what triggered the whole thing was me hearing Lumeria, the Lumerians, clairvoyance activated, psychic awareness, sensitivity, trust your intuition. Like you are being called hard and heavy to trust yourself and to step into this journey that I know it's scary for you, but you are so supported, and not just by the star seeds. You are supported outside of that too. Let's pull her off. We have Paul the Venetian, gifted one, revealing hidden talents, opportunities to shine. Like I said, we are going to go ahead and end this because we're already at 50:52, but you're meant to be on this path. You're meant to be seen. You're meant to be heard. It's time to balance that throat chakra. The heavy energy and the need for grounding and protection, and then like the cleansing crystals and the energy amplification of having a big quartz and everything. I really don't feel like this is other people outside of you. It's that the people that are around you may not be in alignment with what you're wanting to do. And so there may be, like the original channeled piece said, some jealousy or misunderstandings, things like, ooh, my ears are needing it, things like that. I think we're needing to wrap up the message. I know we're needing to wrap up the message. But you just got to put yourself out there. Like even for me, I started apparently recording these videos about a year ago and putting them out there, whether anyone watched or not. And I think I'm up to like 48 people that are subscribed. Doesn't mean everybody watches my video or videos or anything like that. But sometimes growth is slow. Sometimes it's fast. But growth doesn't happen at all if you don't allow yourself to stop being afraid of the things that bring about change. You have to stop being afraid of change. And you've also got to do that healing work. You got to do that healing work. And if you need to go out and howl at the moon, literally, go out and howl at the moon. If you need to sing, maybe you need to sing that Adele song. Whatever it is, do that. All right, we're going to end the message there because, like I said, we're almost at 53 minutes. If you've hung out this long, thank you so much. Even if you didn't, I still am appreciative of any amount of the video that you watched. If you feel like this video would be helpful for someone else, please share it. If it helped you, please like, comment. I love connecting with other people and hearing your stories, and just, I don't know. I can be your cheerleader. I'm not going to necessarily be your best friend because it is a business and I do have my boundaries. But in the comments, I will definitely like hype you up, give you a heart, give you a like back, because I love hearing people's stories. And even if you're struggling, seeing that you're doing the things to change it and to turn it around and to reframe and challenge those thoughts. Like I love seeing the glow up. We have to. Even on my computer, there's a sticker. It says, embrace the shadows. It's got a crow on it. It says, embrace the shadows. I love seeing where people have gone through the darkness and come to the light. I've said many times that I feel like that's my role in this life, whether with spirits or with humans, that I am someone who tries to help them to go through the darkness so that they can come into the light. Again, if there are any services that I provide that you may be interested in, and you can find those on the website empathicrow1111.com. I'm going to also try to link them to my socials so that it's easier to book those services or to see what I'm up to. Please, please, please feel free to check those out and like, share, subscribe, check out other videos, whatever it is that you feel called to do. But I'm excited for you in your journey because goodness gracious, like you're being pushed, and being pushed can feel a little scary sometimes, but just know you're being pushed in the right direction. I'm hearing led. You're being led, not pushed. You're being pushed, but you're also being led, guided. You're being divinely guided. We are going to stop this because they are too funny. But take care. And whenever you're watching this, I hope that whether it's weekend or week, it is gentle and peaceful, or at least enlightening, and that you're able to do what you need to do for yourself. Remember that self-care. Bye.